Welcome back to another video. This is a video that was requested by several people, and I just thought it was time to kind of do a video about Wingbits, about people coming into the project. This is for those who are new here. Welcome. I'm glad you found my channel. And it's not the same compared to a lot of other YouTube channels you'll find quickly. And that's what people say they like about it. So if you're new here, hey, I appreciate it. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, give me a like, and consider subscribing to the channel. Also hit the bell notification for, so you'll be notified whenever I make videos. But I tend to try to make videos that are real. Hence the name, and because people call me grumpy, but really a lot of it is reality that people can't handle the truth, because I've always said I don't lie in these videos. And if I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong, which is a rare thing in YouTube or any other influencers, social media influencers or anything like that. But, I tend to try to tell it like it is. And some people don't care for that, but it is what it is. So the reason for this video is there's a lot of new people coming into Wingbits. Hey, Wingbits is getting a lot of momentum. They have new stations that were manufactured by HiFix. At one point, we were doing our DIY stations, do-it-yourself stations, where you could take an old helium device, or maybe like a little potato like this, or a sweet potato, if y'all familiar with those, or even put the third-party software on it, like Crank or BitHarvest. I have 5 or 6 devices running BitHarvest that are doing multi-mining, helium and Wingbits. For a while, we could do that. I've been with the project since about June of 2023. And actually, I learned today that I was one of the first 10 or 15 stations, which I didn't think so. But hey, that's what they're telling me. And who am I to argue? That's what Wingbits is telling me. So that's how long I've been in this project for. But things have changed. They've changed some different things with it. And how, you get where you install and how you can install. Before, there was no limit on where you can install at. Now they have Res 6 hexes, and we're going to go over that kind of stuff, because what we're finding is people aren't really doing their research. And we say that with all projects. Make sure you do your research first. Wingbits already has paying customers. So anybody out there who tells you that this model or anything like that with Wingbits isn't going to work, they don't know what they're talking about. Don't listen to that kind of negativity in your life. That's people that don't do research. They think because you have an app on your phone like FlightAware or ADSB Exchange or one of these other flight tracking things, and that's free for you or for me, that's free for everybody. And that's simply not true. If a commercial company wants that data of that flight stuff, they have to pay for that data from those companies. You and me might be able to download an app for free, but commercial entities that need that or want that data for whatever reason, they have to pay those companies for that data. So what Wingbits is doing is no different than anybody else in that business. The difference is Wingbits feels that the person who is uploading that to their servers, cloud, whatever you want to call it, they believe that those people who are delivering that should be compensated with FlightAware and stuff. And look, I've downloaded FlightAware in the past, and I'll be honest with you, I even have a host location where, because of the building that the guy is on, and he has some partners and stuff, the only deal I could make was I was allowed to put a Wingbits device, but I also had to put a second station in there for one of these other companies, because he didn't want to ever be, accused of only helping one company or something like that. And you know what? When you're working out host stations, sometimes they have different kinds of ask, and you just have to play by that rule. This guy didn't really want anything as far as compensation. So who am I to argue? So it is what it is. I have currently 14 stations of DIY devices. I also have one station coming in that is going to be for an unboxing video. One of the new stations. We're going to go over that real quick, but I don't want to take too long in this video. I just want to be able to go over a couple of things. Wingbits is one of my top projects that I am Can't wait to get involved in, for it to go to mainnet. I do on Mondays, I do videos of all the different projects I'm in, how I'm compensated by those that are on mainnet and those that still have on testnet. So for those of y'all who are new, y'all just hearing about Wingbits, y'all seeing some momentum, people talking about it on X, different social medias and stuff like that. This right here is the Wingbits website, and you can check it out. They just had this recent announcement also, which is a pretty big deal, that they also, in combination with Spire and SpaceX and all that, that they're going to have even their own satellite to validate the information that we're doing. It's not going to be taking over or anything like that. It's going to be for us with stations to validate, because that's what their customers want. Their customers want validation. That's why they're also moving away from DIY devices. They capped it at 2,000 DIY devices like this. And we now have to go to a high fix manufacturer station that looks like these two right here. You have the regular Wingbits station like this that is only going to do Wingbits, and I have several videos that y'all can go look back that when we talk about this, that where I kind of describe what is going to happen with it and what's it involved. You have a one-piece type of system right here with basically one wire that will come out for power and network. You can separate this if you want antenna, because with Wingbits, the higher the antenna, the better results you're going to get. We're going to go over a couple of different examples of that. Their other device is the combination GeoNet Wingbits device. I'm also in GeoNet. It's a great project for those who are familiar with it. I don't want to go too deep into that because I'm trying to keep this video somewhat short, which I don't do short videos, but that's why I put chapters in them. But for those who are new, there is a device that you can do GeoNet, which again, I'll go over that on my Monday videos and it's my weekly recap videos and stuff like that. And I think I'm making, $7 to $8 a day with GeoNet. We don't know what Wingbits is gonna pay yet because they're still in testnet. But they have this MGW. Now you see this price, and the price is it's up there. We're not gonna sit in line and tell you it's not. So now if you want to get into the Wingbits project, you have to go through one of the websites to get these type of stations. They don't do the do-it-yourself devices anymore. So if you look at right here, I do have a code, either highfix.ai or Helium Deploy, where you can get 10% off. 10% is $100 off, almost $1,100 off of that combo device, or $400 off of the Wingbits only device. Some people get upset about people on YouTube pushing their codes and stuff like that. Hey, if you don't want to use it, go pay full price for it. It is what it is. But these started these things for sale, I think October, November-ish. And I was, there's a lot moving. When people use my code, I get notified. We still have people buying these stations. And that's kind of what we come to talk to now, what this whole video is about eventually, which I'll get to, is when you decide that you want to join the Wingbits project, the first thing you need to do before anything else, other than have the money straight to purchase something like this, is you need to go back to that wingbits.com website. So let's go check that out. So we're back on the Wingbits website, and the first thing you need to do is go up here to where it says map. And you're going to click on this map, and you can see these couple of different dots. Now, when you look at these dots, they all kind of represent something different. Blue ones are current stations that you don't own, that are running and occupied, had a station at one point that is running and occupied by somebody else. They might be offline now, but at one point they were online. So we're going to go over kind of all this in a second. And then the orange dotted ones like this, they mean that they're reserved. This is somebody who's bought a high fix station that has reserved this hex and then not online quite yet. So a quick brief overview is, when you click on one of these, this is a Res 6 hex step. And what's good about Wingbits is, if you live in this general area, you cannot put another station here once this is reserved. And same thing with this one. Even if you're ready to put your station online, you have it in hand now, and somebody has this reserved, it doesn't matter. If you live anywhere in this area, you have to put, and this can't be like Helium where, I live right here, but this hex right here is clear. So I'm just going to put this address in there. They don't do that no more. These are use GPS with different, what they call geosigners. If you have a DIY device, or there's GPS included in those devices we saw on that website that will verify your GPS. And that's part of what the potential customers wanted, was a way to verify that those devices are in that location. And that GPS cannot be spoofed or anything like that, because there's an encryption device that marries it to your device, and it double verifies somehow that, which is over my head, that that device is in the right spot. So let's say, you're hearing a lot of stuff about Wingbits. You think they're going to be a very good project. I think it's going to be a very good project. Again, they just came out with a satellite. They're not spending that kind of money if they weren't going to be a legit project. They have paying customers already. So despite what all the people want to spread FUD about, this project ain't going to work out, or there's no model for it or anything like that, that's been blown out the window also already. What's basically the first thing you got to do is you have to find your location and see what it looks like. If you live in a location like this, if you live in a location that looks like this, and you're right here, I know you can find this hard to believe, but this probably is not the project for you. Every time the way that these rewards work is when you click on here, you have these reward hexes, which are res 3 hexes. And however much you can cover from your station, and this is why it's important to put your antenna on your roof. This can't go inside. This can't go in your mom's basement or attic or anything like that. And can it technically? Yeah, but you're going to get horrible results. And you could be one of the people that complain that I'm only getting 1 or 2 wings a day. But this is res 3 hexes. Each hex gives out, I want to say it's like 25, 26 tokens. And depending on how many stations can hit that and how many messages your station can get in this hex in a day, you split that with the other stations, depending on how many they can hit. So what happens is, again, when you have all these stations online, they're all splitting the 25 tokens in this hex. And you're going to be a station that comes online and gets 2 or 3 tokens, if not less, for all these things. And you're going to be very upset with your rewards. So that's why it's very important to kind of look. And this is why they have this map here. They have this map here because if you want to say, hey, I live in this area and I want to see what people are making with this project. Now, again, you don't know exactly how their antenna is installed, but like this antenna is probably inside somebody's house. They're getting 2 hexes, that's it, and 3 wings a day. That's not really a lot. I think it's a 10 billion token supply. So, 40 is a good station. As you get out here, this is 150 tokens. So you can see that once you start getting on the outside, and again, this is probably on top of a building or a tower or something like that. And you can see how many tokens this person's getting. I always use this one down here for example, because right now these stations are offline and these 2 are very poor performing. So you look at what this one's doing. He's high up and he's getting by himself with 1 station with this water around him. He's getting 1,000 tokens. If you can put your station somewhere where you have a big body of water next to it, you're going to do awesome. One of my stations right here is in a place called Grand Isle, Louisiana, at my buddy's fishing camp. And originally this station was 10 feet off the ground. So you didn't have to go 200 or 300 feet. I have a video where I used a piece of metal top rail from a fence. They call it fencing top rail. It's 10 foot tall. It was on top of that, 10 foot tall. That's all that antenna was. But it was also literally no obstructions between it and the water at the Gulf of Mexico. It was about 10 or 15 feet off the beach right there. And that was it. This was out of 14 stations, 10 feet tall, my best performing station. This thing rocks over water. And when you click it now, I recently just moved it to a different location, and you can see it's getting me 250 tokens. And there's a building right behind it, so it's shaded towards the northwest. But if you can put this in a place where you got a big body of water, you'll probably do pretty good. You look at some of the other stations, though, that people have around here, and you'll notice that, again, we're starting to split off 3 tokens. So you can see the difference. So, I don't want people to take this as, oh, the people who are already there are being greedy, nobody else. That I'm taking this, and even though I don't work for Wingbits, I'm not employed, I don't get any kind of compensation from them at all. It's still for the benefit of the project. They don't want people who are going to spend $1,000 on a device, and when they realize they're only getting half a token, it's going to take an eternity to pay that device off. Now, we don't know about what the price is going to be. I'm not doing price speculation or anything like that, but it's not hard to figure out that, when you come in here and you start seeing what some of these this is doing 20, and you can click on another one. This one's doing 2. But yet you go and find one that's kind of by itself. If it's a good setup, and this person's doing 60, and this person's doing 100, is you want to try to find a spot, if you have a choice, that's out in the open. I have a friend who lives in a place which I didn't even know it existed, but it's called Chugwater, Wyoming. And I'm just trying to free up a station. What I've been doing to get stations out to people that want to host it for me is I just take my poorest performing station. At one time was the one at my house right here, and sent it off to somebody. Because you can move stations, even though you have the GPS on it, you can change it in the dashboard and still move it, as long as the hex you're going to isn't occupied. My buddy, who happens to live in Chugwater, and I laughed and I thought he was joking what the name of it was, but it's in Chugwater. He wants a station. And even though they got some stations to the south, there's nothing to the north. This station will probably do very well. And I would do that. If I had a buddy who was right here who wanted this station right here, I would say, no, it's not really worthwhile to put a station here. Now you got 8 tokens. Now you got 2 tokens. You got 60. So this is probably a better setup. This one does 0.1. This is in somebody's basement. So this is just stuff that you need to look at before you jump into this project. Now you think America's tight. As we say, let's cross the pond and take a look over here and look at the amount of stations you have over here. If you're going to live, if you live around here and you're trying to put a station and fill this one hole that's like right here, I would pass, because you're not going to get, you're getting, look, 0.4, 3. This one's offline, 4. They're splitting all these hexes up. And that's something you need to be aware of before you jump into this project. Again, I know, but this isn't just coming from me. If you go into their Discord and listen to them talk about it, they will kind of tell you the same thing. Is it's probably not viable to go put a station right here in the middle of all these hexes right here. And like I said, again, Wingbits is going to tell you that, because they want to see people succeed. They don't. And what happens is, we all know, we've seen a lot of projects. I'm working on another video right now about people in too high of expectations with projects, because we're watching it happen in other projects where people get their first rewards in, and then it's a brand new coin that just went TGE and went to a CEX, and it's not worth hardly anything. And then people are deeming it a scam. I'll give you a perfect example of Silencio. I run Silencio project a lot. Hey, if you're not in Silencio, it's an easy, good project. Use my code SJSO395 to get in with a little bonus for you. But they haven't even did a reward yet. They did one airdrop. And because of what the results were of the airdrop, along with the token price, people are slamming that project in their Discord, which is completely unfair. Now, come March 1st, when the first set of real rewards go out, if people still ain't making anything and they're actually hustling like me every day, running that Silencio app, gaining more tokens, and then you don't make hardly anything, look, it's open game and you can go ahead and attack it. But my fear is the same thing's going to happen with Wingbits, and that's why I'm doing this. People who are making 3 tokens a day are going to be very disappointed. And it's also kind of unfair to people who have been with this project for a long time, who might have started with one device, and nobody else around them. Now, every day they go online, they're seeing more and more people crowd that area. If you're going into an area, even like this, and you see all these oranges, you can't even go off of what these people are making. These people are making between 5 and 10 tokens a day. And what you think is going to happen when you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, potentially 9 more devices that are going to come in here and split these hexes? It's going to be bad. And then people are going to be complaining. I paid $600. I'll pay $400 for a device, and I'm only getting 3 wings a day or 0.3 wings a day. Well, then you didn't come on here and do this homework. And that's what this video is about. Now, if you can do, like, this is another one. Now, I don't know if there's a lot of mountains through here. There might be some mountains, but again, he's completely shaded to the north. So he's losing, and there's nobody up here. So I'm assuming this might be, you know, I'm not familiar with the Ukraine topography, but you have to look at this kind of stuff before you jump into it. You know, I've been helping my boy out, Daniel. I helped him get his stations up in Kenya, down here, Nairobi. And some of his stations do very well. This is one station by itself. This is the only station online in that area, and he's getting 600 to 700, almost 800 tokens a day. He's got great coverage over the water, and you know, these are his also. But then he has somebody who bought a station that's eventually going to be cutting into his rewards. So you know, he has good coverage, but somebody's going to come in here. But you know, so you know, if you had a place to put a station, people want to know, should I put 2 stations, you know, kind of back to back, hex to hex? That's another thing you need to look at. If a perfect example I have is one of my own stations. Out of my 14 stations, one of my top #1 stations is this station that I have in Grand Isle. And you look at what the coverage is on it, and like I said earlier, I have very little coverage to the north of this. However, you look at one of my other stations, and this is my other station, and I was getting, before I put the Grand Isle station back online, I was getting 255 tokens here or there a day. But you can see how me getting my Grand Isle station back online, it had been offline for about a month, or it had been laying down because I didn't have a place to put it in Grand Isle. Once I got that back up, now down here, I'm getting shaded by that Grand Isle, by my own Grand Isle station. But my point I'm getting at is, however, where my Grand Isle station lacks coverage up here, this station that's on my buddy's tower, I'm getting coverage out here. I'm getting coverage 300 plus miles away with this station. So my point I'm getting at with this is, if you want to put 2 stations, people are like, oh, I guess there's no reason to put 2 stations. You know, if you, I'm just trying to find an open spot. If you're right here, and you know, you're going to have to put them at least a hex apart. You know, I'd like to try to find, for example, like 2 stations that would be kind of close together. But if this station right here, let's say it's a mountain range that goes to where this little river is. If your one station can get great coverage this way, but it's a poor in this direction, but yet this station right here is going to get great coverage this way, but poor this way, I would absolutely put 2, if you can afford it at this point. I would definitely put 2 stations kind of back to back. But before you get in this project, you have to come play with this map. Come into the Discord. Hey, we're cool as hell, and we're gonna be honest with you. They have people who PM me all the time, and not just me, some of the other guys that are in there. And there's a couple of us in there who know what we're talking about, even though we're not with Wingbits, even though we're not mods. But there's a couple of people in there, I don't want to go volunteer them to help, but that know what they're talking about. And you go in there and start, you know, in the setup discussion channel or the general channel, and you start talking about, hey, I'm thinking about putting a station up, and they'll PM me what the town is, because let's be honest, the people sniping here. They don't snipe as often now that they have to pay $400 for a station, but I put a host station. I kept talking about putting a host station. I had a buddy that lived in Corpus Christi, and out in Corpus Christi, I was the only station down here. Next thing you know, somebody put one right next to me. And then I also had 3 brand new stations go up around me. I had a buddy who was talking about wanting to put one in Lubbock, Texas. I'm sorry, Amarillo, Texas. I started mentioning that in my videos. Hey, I'm about to put one in Amarillo so as I can get one back from a host. And before I could even do it, sure enough, here's a station in Amarillo. In Idaho, the same thing. I put a station up in Idaho somewhere up in here. And next thing you know, there's 3 stations around it. It was a lot easier to snipe stations or snipe locations. Now that it costs people the amount of money it costs to put a new station up, they don't really snipe as often unless they're moving a DIY station. But my point I'm getting at is some people just want to PM us their location and say, hey, can you look at this area for me? I do that. I don't want to say every day. I don't lie to people, but I would say at least 2, maybe 3 times a week, somebody will ask me to look at this location and tell me what they think. If you want me to look at that for you, my email address is in there. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to say, hey, yeah, there's 2 stations. Yeah, there's 3 stations. But because they're so far apart or because the way the mountains kind of look, you might be able to get some halfway decent rewards. This one's doing 200, If this one's inside somebody's basement, like I can look at this and tell this is an install problem. This is inside somebody's window, or it's next to an apartment complex. Hey, my sister lives in the HOA. She can't put an antenna on top of her roof, but she wanted in this project. So I have a video on black antennas for this project, and she has black gutters. We painted the little chrome part on the bottom of the antenna black, spray painted black. I zip tied it with black zip ties to the gutter, and her HOA has no issue, but she's completely shaded almost on one side. The other side does very well. I can look at this install and say, when this person's getting 200 and this person's getting this is an install issue. Might not be an issue, but it's just not a quality install. You look at some of these other ones, another one doing 200, splitting some of these same hexes. You got these down here. If these are good installs, they're also going to be splitting these hexes. So it goes to show you that even though all these hexes right here are being hit by all these stations, 5, 4, 6, 7 different stations, because there's another one up here, they're still getting some very good rewards. 200 is a very good rewarded station. This one's only getting 30, which tells me again, it's probably not the best install. This one's 15, probably not the best install. This one's 4, probably the best. I guarantee they're having an issue with either antenna. They're using some antenna that came with the device. They're using the SDR. That's not the proper SDR to use. I used to go through all that for DIY stations. I don't really touch on that too much anymore because, for all my ham projects, I was using this one, which is a very good quality metal cased all band for VHF and UHF and different things I did for my ham projects, low frequency and stuff. But for this project, you don't want this. You want one with a filter in it. Maybe not this green one because we've had some issues with it, but one of the blue ones or something. We've been through all that. And now I'm just rambling on and making this video way too long. But my biggest thing is, if you want in this project, nothing in this video is financial advice. Let me put my little disclaimer up because I've been attacked too many times, like as if people think I'm BitBoy and I got 1 million subscribers. So I wish I did, but I don't, about pushing stuff on people. I own tokens with these projects, not really Wingbits yet, but Wingbits will be going to mainnet at some point soon. They want to get all those geosigners hooked up to their DIY devices to be able to verify that nobody's gaming or spoofing anything. Hey, if Helium would have did that a long time ago, we probably wouldn't have half the issues we have with Helium. But anyway, I digress. I got GeoNet little symbol right here because I do support GeoNet, and those combined devices with Wingbits and GeoNet are going to be some very good devices. They did some testing with them because they even found 1 or 2 issues with those devices. That's why they got delayed a little bit, but they're still supposed to be shipped out Q1, which Q1 is the end of, I got an argument with somebody yesterday on Discord about this. Q1 ends March 31st. They announced that they would be shipping out Q1. Mainnet was hoping to be around the end of Q1. We'll see. But hey, I want it done right. I don't want it rushed out. This isn't going to be Helium where you're waiting a year or 2 for your devices. So they found a little issue with them. They weren't done manufacturing them yet. They fixed that issue and then even upgraded our LNA inside of those devices, which the LNA is the little line amplifier. And that's gonna be great. And it's a more expensive LNA that they're putting in. This is HiFix at their cost. Wingbits is not manufacturing any of these devices. They kind of made the specs and what they were looking for. HiFix handled the manufacturing and they're handling the shipping. The Geo signers were not, despite what some people say, they were not manufactured by HiFix. That was another company that did that. But I'll put this disclaimer up top because I have people who say I'm just pumping tokens to sell. I don't sell tokens. Not when they first come out. I have grass tokens. I've staked those. I sold a little bit of grass just right at the beginning for a hunting trip I was on. Because I got $1,000 worth of grass for the airdrop. But GeoNet, haven't sold any tokens yet. Chirp, haven't sold any tokens yet. Silencio, Nadix, Soarchain, have not sold any tokens yet. I'm not selling tokens when we're in the bottom of, whether you want to call it Bitcoin discovery, price discovery, or consolidation, or whatever you want to call it. I'm holding on to that. We got a bull run coming. This is a great time for Wingbits to be coming out with all this because it's the beginning of this bull run. And I think we're gonna have some great things with it. So that's it. I'm wrapping it up. My short video has went long as usual. That's why I try to put chapters in it. But basically, it's just me reiterating what we keep talking about in the Discord. Also, is if you want to get in this project, I think this is gonna be a great project. Will it get you Lambos? No. My channel, if you're looking for a Lambo channel, I got some other YouTubers that I can suggest. I'm not about Lambos. I joke that I'm too fat to fit in a Lambo anyway. Hey, I joke that I love a nice fishing boat. I live in South Louisiana, for those who don't know, and we got some great saltwater fishing. I've always wanted my own boat, and I'm gonna put on one side of it, Bitcoin is a scam, and the other side, I'm gonna put crypto as a Ponzi, because that's what some of the old timers and hard-headed people think about crypto. So I want to go fly by them in a no-wake zone and say, I want them to read the side of how I paid for this boat, and it says crypto is a scam. But my biggest thing about this as a father, I have 2 teenage kids. One's going off to college in a couple of months. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm very, very close with my kids, and I will not be able to handle it. I will be not tolerating it well. I can tell you that right now. But I want to be financially stable. I want to pay off debt with this bull run. My goal at the end of the bull run is I want to be able to pay off almost all my debt other than my house. And I'm not looking for Lambos. I'm not looking to become millionaires or anything like that. Hey, if it happens, I'm not turning it down, but I try to be realistic. I've always said the days of unless you can find some lucky meme coin, the days of putting in money into a crypto project, a little bit of money, and then you become a millionaire, that happened in the mid 2015s, 2016, 17s, or whatever it was. If not before that, this channel is about becoming financially stable so that when my family wants to go on vacation or my family wants to go out to eat, I don't have to look at my checking account to see, can I go or not? That's what this is about. Make my family life better. Some people want bigger and broader goals. Hey, I'm all for that. I wish everybody luck, but I try to be realistic. If I can do better than that, I'm happy and I'm ecstatic, and it's great. It'll make a lot less stress to me. I work 50, 60 hours at my regular job every day, 6 days a week sometimes. I got a side business that's now struggling because I'm concentrating on this YouTube content and this crypto stuff, and I'm trying to keep up with crypto and Twitter and all this stuff and putting stuff out for y'all. That's why I'm bald, going bald. There's always something going on. I sleep 4 hours a day and redo it the next day. It is what it is. I'm hustling and I do it for my family. And it sucks that I should be spending a little more time with them, but I'm hoping it turns out in the long run that it helps everybody out. But I'm rambling on. Listen, I got some other videos I plan on doing. One about people being spoiled in crypto. 1 or 2 new projects I'm kind of looking at. Y'all be on the lookout for those. And I have a lot of videos. If you're getting into Wingbits, a lot of videos that you can watch about Wingbits. So thank you all for watching and stay tuned for more from Wingbits.